We're in Siman and Gimel Sif Days, talking about if a broken leg bone in the animals is a treif or not. V'chein ba'of. We just said that if the animal's legs were broken, well, the aver it depends. Depends. The machlokes whether the behemoth itself is treif. So we have to base the chaim ba'of nechtechu nishberu agafov if its wing bones are broken in kshera. A bit of a machlokes about what we're talking about. Some say it's referring to what's called the scapula in technical terms. When you're eating your chicken, it's the thin sword-shaped bone. When you're breaking it apart. Rashi says it's more towards the wing. Whatever. Even if it's right near where the chibur is, so there could be that it's still it's the same thing as the chibur laguf. Who sheshiber etzem achitzain. Sheshaber ha'etzem achitzain lo yeheba oketz. Shim hayeba oketz tivdak hareya. If it's broken, so that it's kshera, even if it's samach the chibur laguf, it's still kosher. However, if the bone breaks, one of the things we have to check for is that the lungs didn't get punctured by the broken bone. Like we had before, they're machmirim by the animal, so too by chicken or by a bird. If it's broken near the guf, we say it's like shamot. Minig a palshut shenagu l'sharb kereichev. Kosher, we see how close it is to the guf. If it's too close, then it's to the chibur, so then it's considered nishmat. Otherwise, it's fine. Unless you see that there is some sort of bruise or some sort of blood, some sort of blood blister or whatever. Some sort of, you see blood on the other side of by the ribs. Aval, ein choshin lazeh machshirim mistama. You don't have to be choshish for that, because we're choshish that if it's broken by anywhere near the ribs, we're choshish that it also punctured the lungs. But if you don't see over here by the chickens, if you don't see any blood by the ribs, so don't worry about it. Ein chiluk im oikitz b'shvira. No, we don't care if we see it's that there's splinters when it broke. Although it's far enough from the guf. Again, if it's close to the guf, we're choshish for splinters or sharp edges of the bone. But if it's far enough, it could puncture the lungs or any other of the internal organs. To be honest, but otherwise, if it is not, if it's far enough away, we're not choshish. If we don't have, say this much, whatever, away from the ribs, as he treifa b'cholinyan, l'mahani b'dika sareya de'enu b'kiyim b'b'dika. It's not going to work to check the reya because we don't really know how to check chicken reyas that well. We don't b'chol makom de'ika reyas achinog. If there's a reyas of chicken lungs, we don't know, or the bird lungs, we don't really know how to check it. So therefore, achinog so I don't, the truth is I didn't look into it as far as I do know. I do check some lungs of the chicken. I think you mentioned in the shechita thing, but I don't know how. Mara says we don't know how to check chicken lungs, so I don't know what they're checking for. It could be they're checking, and it says Machum is the reyesa. We don't know how to check it if there's a problem, but it could be they check it just to see that the lungs aren't completely ruined, but to check for a small hole and all that type of stuff. We're not bekimin. Gimel nishmatu agafa v'afilo echad mehem. If where the wings are attached, if they popped out, so down again we're choshish that maybe it could puncture the lungs. It's Aruch l'nafcha l'balka mishleim ksher v'im lav treifa, and we have to blow it up and check to see if it's shleim ksher v'im lav treifa. Taz says l'didan. We're not became in any bedika by chicken lungs, so then this wouldn't. There's no point in doing this. But so therefore, if you therefore I guess if nishkatu agafav, we would just trafe up the chicken because it's close to the goof. Of is the you can pictures. It's where the like the shoulder bone or whatever, which are where the wings attached to. I guess it's called scapula. It's not the wings. The wings, well, so, like over here, it's like the collarbone sort of. So that gets pulled out. So it's because it's right near the rib cage that it punctured the rib cage. Not that it can't fly. That's not such a big deal. Even though Rashi Taka says that it's talking about the wings, not talking about that. That's how Kula Illuminated. He talks about the fact that the Rashi says it's the wings itself. And he brings interesting Nakuda that could be Rashi was Choshesh that the bird has air sacs, like it has like that blow up when they breathe in to help it be buoyant. So Rashi was Choshesh that one of those would come pierced, and that is attached to the lungs, so that will be a chelik of it. It's a nice little interesting thing. But Lamai says we don't go like Rashi. We only trace up if it's only Ashkenazim only if it's around here. The wing itself doesn't make a difference. The wing itself doesn't. At least in this issue, it doesn't make a difference because here we're talking about shashos that a bone broke near the rib cage and punctured into, especially by an animal we're not so choshesh, but by a bird we're choshesh because the rib cage is not so strong. So any trauma to it could puncture the lungs. Dalid nimtza hagaf shavur. And you do it in kodem shkita or nishbar achar kach treifa. If you find it broken and you don't know, it's safek deraisa l'chom. Hagav yesh machshirin v'chok sfek sfeka. Safek shemen nishbar achar shkita. V'intin salom or kodem shkita shemen lo nikva hareya. Maybe the hareya is not nikva. V'yesh lismei chal zeh l'hachshir b'nishbar. We can be samech on it if you see it broken. Hayesh machshirin. On that, the Taz jumps up and says, "Hey, wait a second." The Chachamim jump up and say that what's this fake over here? The second suffix is that Shemelo Nikva Areya. So check. So Taz says, "Well, because we don't know how to check. So if it's a suffix, it's what suffix Deah is not called a suffix. You can't make a fake out of that." So he's called this. So the Cholik on the Ramah, but the Gra is V'yashev. He says that's we don't go by the Sveka to be Mako because we don't know how to check. That doesn't right. Everyone agrees that even the Ramah agrees that's not going to go ahead and create a suffix, right? A person checks an animal. I don't know how to check the lungs, so like a Sveka, it doesn't help. But the Gra says a pshat in the Ramah. Is that the second part? It's not that he's samich on the sveka per se. It's that there's a shita holds the sveka, therefore it's okay. We can be samich on it since are those mekilim anyway. So we can be samich on it. Not that we say there's a sveka chisar yediyah. Oh, if you buy chicken breasts or a whole chicken, and you find that the thing is broken, do you have to be choshesh? I don't know. It's right. So that's the thing is I asked for a bit of meantime in the shir if you see a broken leg, something, or you see there's blood in the basa around it. He said Vikra did it's fine. It's kedai to cut that out, just in case it is blood from the whatever. Basically, you don't have to be choshesh that it was broken beforehand, because it's very common to be. It's probably a row. These things happen in processing. You're at a home. You're just shechting one chicken at a time. So then something breaks. You say, "Oh, you have a suffix." But here, these things are thrown around, and it's very common that after shechita or whatever, that in processing they get broken. However, if you find that it's shamut, then yesh lahachmir v'le'asor there, because anyway the issue is a sveika anyway, where if it's broken, it's still okay. I don't know how close it is to the guf, and it's shash whether it went ahead and maybe did it puncture, not puncture. But if it's shama, we already said before that it's a strong shash, that it did puncture the lungs, and therefore yesh lahachmir. Hey, of shahaylo maka amuka tachas hakanaf, neged areya. Let's say you see it has a deep puncture wound or some sort of wound or whatever under the wings, near the reya samanoitza alamaka. So what do? Is you put a feather on top of the maka, v'nafchu derech hagargeres. I guess after you shech the chicken, you take the head off, and then you blow into the koneh for kash dak, like a straw. Lo yotza haruach. If you don't see that the feather is moving, you male makom ma'im. And you put water over there. Binafech bekash, and again you put some water there, and you blow into the koneh. Derech hagargeres. Imivatzu v'mayim treifa. And that's then this is the second bedika we've had before, that if you see the water bubbles, so then the lungs are punctured and it's treif. Nundalid. Yeah, because it's because the only chashir is if if there's a stab wound in the side of an animal, the only choshish that if it went into one of the avarim, but if we see that it didn't, so then it's a check, then it's okay. And Dalid, habehema yesh la chaf base slows gedolos. An animal usually has 22 ribs, large ribs. Sheish behen moach, the ribs that have marrow in them. Yesh yiralef mikam, yiralef mikan. There's 11. This 11 on that side, that gives us 20. That gives 22. And each rib is attached to the vertebrae. Lamata mehem ish odsos katanos, short ribs. The short ribs by the bottom of the ribs. So anyone who knows about the short ribs and whatever. Special. I'm sure everyone has their own recipes and things. Al-Qapanim, she'ein behem moach. They don't have moach in them, so these are smaller and they don't really have moach. I don't know the actual short ribs. I don't know where they're taken from. Well, because they do have marrow, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, the achar shekalu kol atzlos, and after all the atzlos are finished, sheish chuliyos she'ein atzlos tekos, and there's vertebrae which don't have any ribs coming out. So nishber ruban shachaf beis hagadolos. If rove of the ribs are broken, mechetzion ulamala, from the animals, the animal standing. So it's from the chetzi ulamala towards the vertebrae. Klapi shedra bein shisha mitzadzeh v'shisha mitzadzeh. You have 11 over here and one more on the other side, or you have 6 and 6. Treifa, it's treif. If they are popped out of the vertebrae, v'achulya kayamis, and the chulya is still kayam, habiki ilu nishtabru, then that has the din of shever, and it needs to be that there's rove soles which are broken. All right. Now again, also by behemoth, we're not so. We'll see. We're not as concerned like by a chicken that the lungs are punctured, but we'll see about that a bit more. If the small ribs are broken, that doesn't make a difference. Those don't. Those don't add to the rove, as the Shach points out. Even if you have one side is all broken, and then the small ribs also, it doesn't make a difference. Small ribs aren't starved to the big ribs. Gimel, nekar me'atzlos gedolos tzela v'chetzi chuya ima treifa. If from the large slows there's one, and tzela v'chetzi, there's 1.5, which are pulled v'chetzi chulya. Tzela v'chetzi chulya. Right, one of the ribs is pulled out, and half of the vertebrae also, like it's broken in half, whatever. Treifa. Even if there's one, if it snaps the vertebrae, then you have a problem, and the animal's treif. Hagav adavka ne'ekra. That's only if it you see it was pulled out. Kosher, but if you see it just happens to be missing, you see if it was violently pulled out, so then that's a problem. But if it's just missing, if the attachment's just missing, or you see it's just gone. If there's an extra vertebrae, I feel in state slows, even if it's a completely extra vertebrae with 2 extra ribs, could go in shedim to yubeit slows gedolos yesh be'moach kosher. In that case, for the ribs, we don't say "Chol yeser kenitel dami," or either if we say it, but we don't say "Yes yeser kenitel yeser kenekra." That we don't say. It could be it's gone. It could be it's chasera. If we find one of the ribs is chaser, then it's okay. That's what it means. Right? It's kosher, but akopanim, or even if the vertebrae is missing. But if even if there's an extra one, it's okay because that's like chaser, which is kosher by the ribs. Only problem if it's torn out. Let's say on one side you find 11, and the other side you find 15, right? Even still, that's not treif, and that's okay. Chaser by ribs is okay. Just only broken's the problem. It's not a problem. That's not a problem. I mean, obviously, if it's missing all the one rib, it would be a problem. I don't know. So the Shach really gets into the issue a bit more about whether imamish paske koyasu kenito, but because the Shach goes into if imamish paskin every single thing is kenito. He says beikaradim we don't paskin yeser kenito like the Rambam, the Rambam says not. The Rashba's machmir, and the truth the Rashba, Shitas Rashba yeser kenito and everything. We're machmir the chachila, but the Shach says be'etzim b'di'evit we're not. The mice we're not. We're not machmir. So therefore, it depends. If it has some meruba, then it could be. And there's other shitas who hold that chaser by ribs is a problem. So therefore, it's kind of be machmer if there's no hefsed meruba. However, the Shach says since already you have mekilim and you can be starif the mekilim to the Rambam, and you don't have to be machmer. Daled nekra chulya achas kula. If there's one of the vertebrae is gone, if it's torn out, a few meyoson she'em slows treifa, even if it's further down the body, but if it's missing, if it's missing, but it's you see that the vertebrae is broken, and broken and therefore it's missing. It's treif. Hagav afilu hu lamata v'makom she'ein psika schud shedra paisel sham. Even if it's now in talked about the chodesh shedra, that if it's there's a psila over there that it branches off. So afilu hu lamata v'makom she'ein psikas chodesh shedra paisel sham. Even if it's down further down past the pitzul, where even broke the chodesh shedra, it's still puzzle because it's not mitam. It's not mitam chash that the spinal cord was broken. This is a broken vertebrae is a treif be'etzim. It's not because it's a broken vertebrae, not choshish that broke the spinal cord. The broken back is a treifa. Hey, in nishbra ashed v'nisach l'shedra kshera. If the back is broken, not that it's necra, but it's just broken. So then, and there in that case, we see that didn't puncture the chodesh shedra kshera. Nekra chulya is treif. Nishbar is not. So if it's just cracked, but it's still there, and then you check the chodesh shedra, it's okay, it's fine. But if it's like you see that it was torn off, there was vertebrae there, and it was necra. It was broken and came out. However it was, you could tell that it was the injury involved. That it was torn out of the socket and things or whatever. So that would trafe it up. I think maybe we'll stop here. We'll do Minhei tomorrow. That's what the